So, as a child, I grew up around the Catholic faith, but it was more tradition than any conversations around God. I really found divinity in nature. I was a very sensitive child. As long as I can remember, I could pick up those subtle energies. Even before I had the verbiage to understand, it was a feeling within me of wonder, of amazement, of something that I really couldn't put words to, but I could feel within myself. And that to me was the divine. It wasn't one lightning bolt moment, it was a series of initiations. And I actually began to understand the meaning of life. It felt like my consciousness was expanding. I began to understand the very building blocks of life itself. And I began to understand that we are beings of light. At our very foundational core, we are beings of light. There was something that had shifted. It taught me not to externalize and really find the power from within. So that relationship that I have with myself, with my mind, with my own body is a form of divinity, a form of faith in itself. I'm not a victim. I'm a creator. So
why do the same life patterns keep repeating for you, even when you're conscious and self-aware? What if the problem isn't your mindset, but a nervous system that never learned to feel safe? Well, Monika Benoit's life was interrupted multiple times by what she calls initiations, a ruptured appendix, a life-altering brain virus. And what awakened in the process was a radical truth that lasting change doesn't come from more effort or more pushing, but from the nervous system feeling safe. Today, Monika helps conscious leaders rewire subconscious beliefs through EFT tapping and hypnosis. And in this episode, you'll discover why your own patterns began before age 7 and how to finally re-record them. Stick around until the end of our conversation for a special channeled message that I bring to Monika. I'm your host, David Trotter. Welcome to the Awaken Magazine podcast. Monika, it is great to be with you today. Thanks so much for taking time to join us.
thank you so much, David. It's so great to be here.
I want to hear your own journey of awakening. I love hearing stories that are honest and real about kind of that journey of coming to consciousness, mindfulness, spirituality. And did you grow up with some sort of faith tradition as a kid, or did that more come later to you in life?
So as a child, I grew up around the Catholic faith, but it was more tradition than any conversations around God. It was going to church on Easter, and I'm Polish, so we did the Polish blessing of the Easter baskets as one example of those traditions that we kept going over time. But there weren't really any deep, meaningful conversations about faith or what God is. So I really found divinity in nature. I was a very sensitive child. I could feel what other people were feeling. From as long as I can remember, I could pick up those subtle energies. Even before I had the verbiage to understand or knew what the implications would be, I could feel what everybody else was feeling. And that required me to get away. I needed to recalibrate, to recharge. So I found that in nature. And I also found divinity. It was a feeling within me of wonder, of amazement, of something that I really couldn't put words to, but I could feel within myself. And that to me was the divine. It was more meaningful than sitting in a church. And over time, I found that there were more and more initiations that life was bringing me that taught me more about what faith and what divinity really means. It wasn't one lightning bolt moment. It was a series of initiations. But one particular moment I recall when I was 16 years old was really interesting, and I'd love to share. I actually took some magic mushrooms with a group of friends. And this group of friends had actually built a Native American sweat lodge in the woods.
As teenagers?
Exactly. It was great that I was surrounded by people who wanted to explore their consciousness
Wow.
instead of destroy it. So we took the magic mushrooms and we're in the sweat lodge. And I actually began to understand the meaning of life. It felt like my consciousness was expanding. I began to understand the very building blocks of life itself. Sacred geometry revealed itself. I could look at a tree and see that it was made of sacred geometry. And I began to understand that we are beings of light. At our very foundational core, we are beings of light. And so, and beyond just understanding or thinking about the concept, I could feel it within me. There was something that had shifted. as a result of that psychedelic experience. And as an adult, I would go on to serve as a professional psychedelic guide. There was something so amazing about how your consciousness expands within a psychedelic state, especially when you're surrounded by the right people and you have the right intentions. And then also the integration process is very important as well, because even after a shift in consciousness, if we don't integrate that shift into our daily life, it'll slowly disappear. So as a teenager, that's what I found. After that amazing experience, I felt different for days. I wanted to eat different foods. I wanted to eat whole foods. I was avoiding processed foods, not because something was telling me to, but just internally, I was being driven to make those choices. I wanted to talk to different people. I was looking at life differently. But because I didn't have a proper integration of that, it slowly trickled away as I was living my quote unquote normal life. And I would find there were more initiations later on in life. But in terms of psychedelics, it inspired me as an adult to want to professionally help people with psychedelics because I saw how powerful it could be in terms of helping with anxiety, depression, trauma. I found that for myself on some level. And then as an adult, being able to help others use psychedelics for a deeper purpose was extremely satisfying. Eventually, I found that leaning or relying on a psychedelic was limiting. And so eventually I found that I really trusted the tools that we have within us. So I found that over time, it was the tools that we develop within the mind and the body that are even more powerful than an outside substance. And so that's
Mhm.
what my work over time developed into. And some of the other initiations that helped me to understand my own faith, my own divinity, were initiations with my own body. I had several life or death situations that taught me that I have to honor that my body is divine in itself. And that relationship with my mind and my body is so, so important. And it really creates my entire life. That relationship that I have with myself, with my mind, with my own body is a form of divinity, a form of faith in itself. It taught me not to externalize and really find the power from within. So I had an experience of appendicitis in high school where it got so bad that my appendix ruptured. And by the time they brought me in the hospital, it was almost too late. And the doctor said, "Okay, we're so glad that you brought her in. She was almost a goner." And it taught me that I cannot ignore my body's whispers.
Mm.
What had happened was that the pain had gone on for days and no one had really taken me seriously. And I
Mhm.
didn't know enough to speak up for myself loudly enough. And it almost cost me my life. It was such a powerful lesson to learn at a young age that I have to listen to my body's whispers before they turn into a scream. It can cost you your life. It taught
Mhm.
me really taught me to trust myself on a deep level. And again, it taught me not to externalize or be obedient to outside authority. I had to have internal authority. That was very important to me. So that
Mhm.
was that development of my own sort of faith in myself. And a few years after that, I actually developed a brain virus. And the brain virus took away some of my basic motor skills. I couldn't drive a car. I couldn't write. I couldn't speak normally. It was the part of my brain called the cerebellum. And the cerebellum had a virus in it. And so it was just a strange occurrence that doesn't happen to very many people. But what it taught me was that my body and even the basic functions of my body are so very sacred. Once I recovered from that virus, I found even just taking a step forward in a straight line was divine. I found that writing in a journal was divine. I found that speaking clearly felt sacred. Driving a car felt like a miracle. And so these simple actions became a miracle in themselves. And it gave me a new appreciation for the fact that we are a living miracle, that we're God and goddesses within our own very rights, and that we are treating the body temple accordingly. And it also inspired me to take a deeper journey into the mind body connection as well.
Amazing. My goodness. How old were you when you had this brain virus?
Mm, That was as a freshman in college.
And you had some challenges as a young adult. My goodness, you were really walking through all kind of appendicitis, brain virus.
All part of the journey, all initiations that helped me understand myself, helped me to trust myself on a deeper level, and ultimately led me to become a healer as I was able to heal and go through the inner journey of connecting the dots. Why did I manifest these circumstances. I wasn't, it took me time and to really go deeper and to ask those questions and say, I'm not a victim. I'm a creator. So how did I create these circumstances? And it found what I found was the answer of the mind body connection. When there are traumas and emotions that are unacknowledged, they survive in the body or they manifest as a discomfort or a disease. Or sometimes there's a soul contract that's a wake up call. So I was inspired by these events, by getting sick and by falling down, by being challenged. I was inspired to dig deeper, to investigate more, to learn more about life itself. And it helped me eventually to help others.
Did you find as you were growing up that you were always kind of more of a helping type person? Uh, or did that shift through those illnesses?
Mm. So, being very sensitive as a child, I witnessed those around me suffering. I witnessed their pain. And my very first role was to hold space. And so I would hold energetic space for my parents who were working endlessly. They were sacrificing tirelessly. As immigrants, we came to America to build a better life. And that's what I saw them do. We immigrated from Poland when I was 2 years old, and I saw them working all the time, giving up everything they could to build this better life for me. And I could feel their pain. I could feel their suffering. And I wanted to help them. So as a child, the only thing I could really do was hold space and say, and send them that loving energy. Say, Mom, Dad, it's going to be okay. And, in my own way. And what I found is that I had picked up their patterns of overworking, of having to prove myself through work, having to prove myself through productivity, and even working to burnout. So, of course, I learned lots of positive, beautiful things from my parents, but I also had to unlearn some of the conditioning and some of the core beliefs that eventually were a detriment to me. So once I was able to identify some of the things I had picked up that were no longer working for me, some of those core beliefs of having to prove everything through working really hard and sacrificing until I was a martyr, then I was able to be a more effective healer. So my childhood experience, the way that I witnessed pain and I tried to hold compassion, it started the pathway, and then more inner work helped me develop those abilities as a healer over time, especially with my pregnancies. Once I became pregnant with my children and became a mother, it opened my heart in a new way. It really allowed me to just want to nurture on a whole deeper level. It gave me this sense of unconditional service to other human beings, and that really deepened my ability and my desire to want to be a better healer. I began to research, get more certifications, and actually my pregnancies inspired me to go deeper into hypnotic training as well. I had already started to train in hypnosis, but I wanted to use hypnosis for childbirth. I wanted to have all natural, medication free labor and pregnancy. And I found the Mongan method, hypnobirthing, which is an amazing book and method of having a medication-free labor and pregnancy and birth. And I was able to do that successfully using self-hypnosis. And I created some wonderful audios, hypnotic audios. And I was able to have all three of my children with no medication, no interventions, no doctors. And for me, that was another way to experience firsthand the power of the subconscious mind and how we can influence our own subconscious mind. We have the tools within. So it was extraordinary to be able to do that with my own body for my own self. And that led me down the rabbit hole of learning more and getting more training in hypnosis. I was lucky enough to train under Marilyn Gordon, who combines EFT tapping with hypnosis and really has developed this amazing healing method that has really served me and my clients.
Amazing. Amazing. How old are your kids now?
My oldest daughter is 18. And then my middle son, he's 15. And my youngest is 13.
Oh, it's so fun. Yeah. My kids are 26 and 22. So they're out of diapers and on the way. Yeah. So many, it's just every stage is just, they say it's so cliche, I guess is the word. The days are long and the years are short. And it is so true. I mean, it just flies by. But yeah, every age is so precious. Your website, one of the taglines that you have is that your nervous system is the gateway. And I love how you are bringing in this combination of the subconscious mind, the importance of the body and how important your body, you've experienced your body to be, the divinity of your body, the sacredness of your body, but also like the connection to the subconscious. I mean, hearing that you had 3 births without any medication, you are Wonder Woman. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. What does this mean? Your nervous system is the gateway. Help me understand that.
Absolutely. So, no matter how many affirmations we say, how much journaling we do, how many good intentions we have, no matter how wonderful our vision board is, if our nervous system or our body does not feel safe, we will inevitably self sabotage. We'll inevitably take action that takes us 2 steps back. When we don't feel safe to expand, we contract. And so we want to create a feeling of safety in the body when we're trying to make change, when we're trying to set a goal, when we're trying to transform our life, when we're trying to manifest something, whatever it is that we're trying to achieve, we first want to achieve nervous system safety, which is just a feeling of safety in the body.
Can I jump in here and say that, I mean, our path of like performance and productivity, that was my path. I love that path. I was delivered that path as well. And so a feeling of safety, I didn't even know what that was or felt like until probably 3 years ago. I went on a journey myself of really somatic healing. And I got a lot of work with laying on that table, doing a lot of somatic coaching and healing. And I didn't even know what it meant to feel safe. If I would have had this conversation with you, I'd been like, safe, yeah, I kind of feel safe. But man, once you feel that, it is transformative. It is so empowering. Like, I mean, the words you just said, like until you feel safe, you said, I want you to say it again. Because when you feel safe, you can expand. How did you say that? You said it so eloquently.
Well, I'm not sure if I can capture the exact words, but if you're not feeling safe to expand, you contract.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And until you feel that, I think it just sounds like, words. But
Mhm.
how could you help someone like me 3 4 years ago where I was I knew my heart was closed. I wanted some more like that openness that you're talking about, that expansiveness. But what are the symptoms that somebody might be feeling or experiencing that would tell them, oh yeah, I'm not feeling safe? Like even if they don't have that language, what are some of the symptoms that they would be experiencing?
Absolutely. Well, if you take a moment to tune into your body's always talking to you. So anything that you're noticing as a discomfort or anything that is craving to be acknowledged within your body, any type of ache, pain, discomfort, or any emotion that's lingering, they're all messages. So when we look at the body and the mind and the interplay of the mind body with curiosity, and we look for what's asking for acknowledgement, what's crying out for attention, that will be our first clue as to what's really going on in the body, what's feeling off. So we
Mm-hmm.
don't have to overcomplicate it. What's feeling off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we feeling at ease? If we just take a moment to try to tune into the body, even that simple question of can you take a moment and just tune into your body can be very uncomfortable.
Right,
And
right.
that's your first clue is that you must not feel very safe. That's why meditation is so yucky for so many people
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we
yeah.
don't feel safe.
Right.
We haven't reached nervous system safety. So why would I want to sit there for 5, 10, 20 minutes? It feels like torture.
Yes.
So a lot of these methods are not effective because we haven't really healed our trauma. We don't have the toolkit to do so.
So how do you help a client if you say, yeah, let's tune into our body? And it's like, especially, I mean, I don't want to be stereotypical, but probably a lot of men, right? Are like, tune into my body. Like, I don't, whew, right? How do you help them?
Yeah, well, EFT tapping is really useful in these situations because it's fast and effective and you can do it right away. And so you're going to feel a difference. In most people, you're going to feel a difference really quickly. And so we're getting that feeling of safety, that feeling of relief in a very short amount of time in the moment. And we can almost measure that as we're sitting there doing the tapping itself. So it's something like, okay, asking you to tune into your body, but there's resistance there. So we just ask with curiosity, what's the resistance? As we ask the question of where is the resistance, it's a pain or an ache or a headache, or it's an emotion, or it's a statement, a thought, and we can work with all of that with tapping. We can tap on the acupressure points that are part of the tapping process, and the person typically can feel a sense of relaxation. And when they feel that they equate that with a bit of most people will, after kind of allowing the process of relaxation, if they're in a receptive state, right, and kind of allowing that process to take over and they're open to it, we can work together to get them to a place of safety.
I know EFT tapping is very popular these days, but I just would love for you to tell people who maybe aren't familiar with it, what does EFT stands for? What does tapping do? And then I would love for you to even walk me through a little, experience, and people could follow along as well.
Great, absolutely. So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it was pioneered by Gary Craig, who is an engineer. He wasn't a healer or anybody spiritual whatsoever. He was looking at some of Dr. Roger Callahan's work, and Callahan was looking at the way that the mind and body were connected, but really through the acupressure or acupuncture points. So acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, believes there are meridians running through the body, and these energy meridians basically are like energy highways. We have energy running up and down throughout the body, and there can be stagnation, there can be blockages. And if there is stagnation or a blockage of energy, we have a manifestation of a disease or a disorder, something that's not quite right in the body or the mind. And so with acupuncture, they use needles in order to release that blocked energy. But with emotional freedom technique or tapping, we're simply using our fingers. We tap on specific points on the face, hands, and body to release that blocked, stagnant energy. And what we find is we're able to release anxiety, release fear, shift out of a lot of traumatic based thoughts, PTSD, an assortment. I could go on and on and on. We could do a whole hour podcast just on the benefits of EFT. And the best part is we're getting clinical research done. Dawson Church has really spearheaded a ton of amazing clinical research to validate the effectiveness. There's been I would almost want to say miracles in the fields of emotional freedom techniques. So it's phenomenal. And for those who are curious and would like a free handout, an EFT tapping point chart, and a guide on how to do it, you can go to monikabenoit.com. And that's one of my free resources right on the website there. And I'd love to guide everybody through a quick tapping sequence. Would you be open to that, David?
Of course. And as a side note, you're saying things as you're tapping. They're almost like positive statements, affirmations. And how does that work together, the tapping and the speaking?
Yeah, great question. So we begin each round of tapping with a very special statement. And this statement allows us to begin the process without trying to change anything at all. Because when we try to change something with a lot of force, what happens? We get
Resistance.
resistance.
Hmm.
Exactly, right? When we have a war on something, we get fight, we get a pushback. So we begin each tapping session by letting go of the resistance, by saying, even though I have this problem, I love, honor, and accept myself anyway. So we say that setup statement 3 times. And what we try to do is be very specific about what we're tapping about. So we pick an emotion, we pick a sensation, or we pick a memory, as specific as possible. We try to gauge how intense we're feeling or sensing that before we begin the tapping process, because afterwards we want to tune in and see, did anything shift? Did anything change? So it's important to try to measure where we're at in intensity before we start. But really the most important element is adding that love and self-acceptance. For some of us, it can be difficult to even utter those words of, I love, honor, and accept myself. That can be hard for some of us, or under certain circumstances, right? So it's okay to change the wording a little bit. Something like, I'm okay with myself.
I'm okay. I don't hate myself today. It's okay.
I'll let myself off the hook. And I'm serious, you can't mess this up, right? So there's no way for us to feel like I'm doing EFT wrong. You're not doing it wrong. You can't do it wrong, right? As long as the intention is there of, even though I've got this problem, I'm okay. I'm going to let myself off the hook just for now. Just for now. Or if you're doing it with a child, something like, but I'm still a great kid, but mommy and daddy still love me. Hey, something that like is okay for the child to understand within their
Mhm.
context.
Mhm.
So we're just adding that element of love, self-love, forgiveness, compassion. Even though I've got this problem, I love and accept myself as much as I possibly can for now. And while we do that, we're actually tapping on the karate chop point, which is where we typically begin our tapping sequence. It's the middle of the side of the palm. You can use either hand. And as an alternative to that, there is another way to begin your tapping. It's a little bit more complicated. It's basically finding the lymph nodes in the top area of the chest here. When you press around up here, there's an area of lymph nodes. If you want to press around with me, you'll feel there's a sore spot. If you keep just pressing around, there's a little area that's going to feel a little more uncomfortable to press than the other spots. It's where there's a lot of lymphatic fluid congested. So if you find that congestion of lymphatic fluid, you're going to do a small, gentle circle. Have you found it?
I don't
Just
know, but I'm going to
you're going to go
massage
for
that
it.
spot. Yeah, I think so.
Try to find the sore spot, and then we say our setup phrase. So let's do this together. Do you have anything that's calling out to you, David? Any sensation in your body, aches, pains, anything that you'd like to tap on today?
The thing that comes to my mind is I'm navigating my dad's beginning of a cognitive decline. And so, I carry that a little bit, just kind of the weight of that. So perhaps that.
Tell me more about that. Does that show up in your body at all? Maybe like a weight on your shoulders, or does it feel like a sensation in the body?
Worry in the head. Yeah, probably worry in the head. Yeah.
Worry in the head. And would you be able to give me any more words to describe that? If it was a sensation, would it be heavy? Would it be prickly? Would it be
Let's see. I would say, um, I love the word that you said before, contracting. Contracting. It feels contracting. Like I feel contracted. I feel it can feel dark and heavy. Yeah, dark and heavy and contracted. Yeah, all good feelings.
Yes, dark, heavy. It's good to identify and to acknowledge and put as many words of description as we're focusing in. So the next element will be as we tap through the points, instead of being distracted away, we want to focus in. So I know it's not very pleasant, but just for the exercise, we're going to be focusing in on the contraction, the dark, heavy, the worry, and the contraction in the head.
Okay.
So we pick a phrase as we're tapping through the rest of the points. We're going to pick one word or phrase, and as we go through, you might hear me. So when I do a session, I go into a flow state similar to channeling. And what happens is I'll come up with certain words that I'm picking up that need to be said that help influence the emotional state so we can clear lots of stuff out.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for a demonstration like this, if we want to keep it really simple, we choose one or two words to keep us focused in on the problem. So we're not thinking about apple pie while we're trying to clear out the the worry about dad. So we're going to, something like this dark congestion in my head, or this
Hmm.
worry about dad. What
Hmm.
label would you like to give it? If this was a movie and you were to give it a movie title, title would you give it?
Worry about dad's future. Worry about mom and dad's future. Worry about mom and dad's future. It's not a very good movie title, but that's what it feels like.
It's specific. That's perfect. So worry about mom and dad's future. So that's the phrase that we'll use as we tap through the remainder of the points, just to keep you honed in on the problem. And I might intercede with a couple extra words. We'll see. But I want to keep it relatively simple. So for the purpose of people learning the process.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, wonderful. So we're going to start on the karate chop point, and what you're going to do is just tap where I tap, and then say what I say.
Okay.
And actually, before we even start tapping, we want to check in on intensity. So I'll just have you close your eyes for a moment, David, and tune in to the contraction in your head, tune into the worry. And you're in a safe space with me just for the time being. I'm holding space for you. And what intensity level would you give that feeling of contraction? We'll say scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst feeling of sorrow, heaviness ever, 0 being there's nothing there.
Probably about a 7.
7. Very good. So we've got our intensity level. And so you can open your eyes and we'll just begin tapping on the karate chop point. And you're going to tap where I tap and just say what I say. Even though I've got this heavy contracted feeling, I'm worried about mom and dad. I
Even
love, oh, go ahead.
should I reply, or should I do it?
Well, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to break up the setup statement into 2 parts. I'll say the first part, and then I'll say the I love and accept myself part. And you're going to repeat after me.
Okay, sounds good.
So even though I've got all this worry and contraction about mom and dad in my head,
Even though I have all this worry and contraction about mom and dad in my head,
I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself.
I deeply love, honor, and accept myself.
Even though I've got all this worry in my head about mom and dad,
Even though I have all this worry about mom and dad in my head,
I love, honor, and accept myself.
I love, honor, and accept myself.
Even though I've got all this contraction and worry in my head,
Even though I have all this worry and contraction in my head,
I love, honor, and accept myself.
I love, honor, and accept myself.
And then we're going to tap on the top of the head, just tuning into that sensation of contraction. And we're going to say the movie title, Worried About Mom and Dad.
Worry about mom and dad.
Now we're going to tap at the beginning of the eyebrow, and you can do either eyebrow. It's right at the beginning point of the eyebrow, right at the beginning here. Say right there. Say all of this worry about mom and dad.
All this worry about mom and dad.
Okay. Now we're going to the side of the eye.
And I'm really focusing. I'm trying to feel that worry at the same time. Is that right?
As best as you can. I know at first this can be a little bit distracting, but our goal ultimately is to keep focused in on the worry.
Mm-hmm.
Allow that worry to wash over you. This is the space for us to clear that out. So I want you to allow the worry, allow the contraction to feel its fullest. And then we're going to go under the eye, and we're repeating that movie title.
Worry about mom and dad.
Worry about mom and dad. Now we're going under the nose, between the nose and the upper lip. Worry about mom and dad.
Worry about mom and dad.
We're going to the chin, where the crease of the chin is. Worried about mom and dad.
Worried about mom and dad.
We're going to the collarbone point. You can feel around, and there's two little knobs here, and you can tap right where those knobs are. Collarbone point. Let's worry about mom and dad.
Worry about mom and dad.
And each point is about 7 to 9 taps or so, but we use our intuition as well. And then we're going into the armpit point, which is about one hand down from the armpit. So right into here. Worried about mom and dad.
Worried about mom and dad.
We're going to take a pause right there. There are points on the fingers. There are other points that are used on the body. But before we go any further, we're just going to pause there. Take a deep breath in, David. Slowly exhale. And just feel your mind, feel your body for a moment. Now we only tapped on a few points, but even just tapping for a brief moment of time can shift energy. So I just want you to tune into that contraction and that worry. And it was at about a 7. It might have gone up, it might have gone down, it might still be a 7. Where are we feeling?
Yeah, it's probably gone up. Yeah, to like 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm. Good. So we're honing in and we're getting exactly where we need to be by calling attention to where we need to acknowledge. So we're just going to keep going. Is it okay if we keep going?
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to go back to karate chop point, and we're going to change the wording a little bit just to say we've got a lot going on there. So I'm going to change things up a bit, and you just repeat after me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're going to say this, even though I've still got all of this worry.
Even though I still have all this worry,
I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself.
I deeply love, honor, and accept myself.
Even though I've got all this worry and it's stored in my head.
Even though I have all this worry stored in my head,
I love, honor, and accept myself.
I love, honor, and accept myself.
Even though I've got all this worry stored in my head.
Even though I have all this worry stored in my head,
I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself.
Top of the head. All this worry means I care a lot.
All this worry means I care a lot.
Eyebrow point. But caring a lot comes with a lot of baggage.
But caring a lot comes with a lot of baggage.
Side of the eye. I'm feeling the pressure.
I'm feeling the pressure.
Under the eye, I'm feeling the contraction.
I'm feeling the contraction.
Under the nose, but I'm acknowledging how that feels.
But I'm acknowledging how that feels.
On the chin, I'm giving myself a voice.
I'm giving myself a voice.
On the collarbone, I'm giving these sensations a voice.
I'm giving them these sensations a voice.
Armpit point, I'm giving this contraction a voice.
I'm giving this contraction a voice.
Top of the head, I'm giving this worry a
I'm
voice.
giving this worry a voice.
Eyebrow point, and what else needs to be said?
What else needs to be said?
Side of the eye, can I give myself more permission?
Can I give myself more permission?
Under the eye, can I give myself more space?
Can I give myself more space?
To be honest with myself.
To be honest with myself.
Under the nose, what else needs to be uncovered?
What else needs to be uncovered?
On the chin, what level of honesty do I need?
What level of honesty do I need?
Collarbone point, with myself.
With myself.
What level of compassion do I need?
What level of compassion do I need?
With myself.
With myself.
Armpit point. Can I let go of some of this?
Can I let go of some of this?
Am I allowed to let go?
Am I allowed to let go?
Top of the head, a part of me feels
A part of me feels
like I can't let go.
like I can't let go.
I'm required to hold on.
Like I'm required to hold on.
I have to hold on to this worry.
I have to hold on to this worry.
Like a badge of honor. What came up there?
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does that feel true?
yeah.
Yeah. Good. So eyebrow point, beginning of the eyebrow, like a badge of honor.
Like a
It
bad.
means I care. It means I care.
It means I care.
On the side of the eye. It means I love them.
It means I love them.
Under the eye, if I didn't care, if I didn't worry, wouldn't that be callous?
If I didn't care, if I didn't worry, wouldn't that be callous?
Under the nose, so the more I worry, the more I care.
So the more I worry, the more I care.
On the chin, the more I worry, the more I love of them.
The more I worry, the more I love them.
Armpit point, but the opposite can be true.
The opposite can be true.
Top of the head. What if the less I worried, the more I loved them?
What if the less I worried, the more I love them?
Eyebrow point. What if sending thoughts of things working out was the best option?
What if sending thoughts of things working out was the best option?
Side of the eye, what if I could shift with this?
What if I could shift with this?
Under the eye, what would that feel like?
What would that feel like?
Under the nose, how spacious would that feel?
How spacious would that feel?
On the chin, could I let go?
Could I let go?
Could I let this in?
Could I let this in?
And could I let this out?
Could I let this out?
Can I let this flow?
Could I let this flow?
Armpit point, can I let the energy flow in and out of me
Can I let the energy flow in and out of me
without gripping so tightly?
without gripping so tightly?
Top of the head, can I let go of outcomes?
Can I let go of outcomes,
Even when I'm tied so closely to them.
even when I'm tied so closely to them?
Eyebrow point, even when it means my very own parents are on the line.
Even when it means my very own parents are on the line?
Side of the eye, am I willing to let go of that?
Am I willing to let go of that?
Under the eye, I'm willing to think about it.
I'm willing to think about it.
Under the nose, can I give myself more space?
Can I give myself more space?
On the chin, can I let go a little more deeply?
Can I let go a little more deeply?
On the collarbone point, for everybody's sake.
For everybody's sake.
Good. And you're tapping in the armpit. All right, good. Deep breath in. Breathing out through the nose. Shake, 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 shake your hands out a little bit. Shake the energy out a little bit. Ooh, yeah, good. How does that feel, David? Tune in for me a bit. Tune in.
Oh, wow. You are good. You are so good. Yeah. That was really powerful. That was my first time. I mean, I've done mild, little exercises, but that was my first time going through it. I know that was a short session, just a taste, but that was really good. Yeah. I felt, you mentioned earlier that you get into a flow state, you personally, and I could feel that. I could feel it. And obviously, you've been doing this for, I think, 18 years as EFT type. So this is almost like a second language. This is a third language for you. You probably Polish, English, EFT tapping. So I could feel you speaking a language. I felt so like, oh my gosh, she speaks this language. I can trust her because she speaks this language. And then all of a sudden the language started coming into me, somehow. And boy, I could feel that shift. Obviously you felt it. Like it was like, whoop, oh, look at that. If I don't worry, it means I'm not loving them. Wow, that is quite a belief that I have in my head that then is carried in my body. So, yeah, thank you so much. What a short taste. How long is a session like that when you're working with a client? Um, I guess I would say when a client comes to you, I know you have a variety of different modalities that you can help them with. Do you have a certain path that you take them down, or draw upon different modalities based on their situation? What does that look like when you're working with a client?
Absolutely. It's intuitive. So when we interact and discuss whatever goal that client may have within that interaction, I'm able to pick up on what level of healing they're open to, that they're willing to receive, that they're ready to receive, and we take it from there. It could just be a simple conversation, might all be there, maybe all they're ready for, maybe some free resources might be the right thing, some audios, or they might be ready for some deep healing. EFT is amazing because we can do really effective deep healing in a very compassionate, loving way. So digging up some really scary, yucky stuff can feel really loving. It doesn't have to be so scary, and we don't have to re-traumatize ourselves. We
Mm-hmm.
can get to some really deep seated issues, and we can see results within just a couple of minutes. So that feeling of relief can be really lovely. So if somebody is in a very high level of distress, we can use tapping very quickly to bring them to a feeling of safety, to bring that person to a feeling of well-being. But if a person has some patterns, let's say there are life patterns that they keep repeating, or some big life changes that they want to make, we want to look at subconscious programming at that point. And that's where the hypnosis comes in. So we want to use hypnosis to basically hit the record button. It's like when we started the podcast and you had to hit the record button. And so basically, we want to think about childhood as we're always having that record button on. Before the age of 7, that record button is on, and we're recording our experiences and we're deciding our core beliefs, what the meaning and perspective about the world is based on those first few years of life. So those subconscious patterns are formed in those first few years of life. Is the world a safe place? Is the world an abundant place? Are people good or bad? Are they willing to help me? Right? These very foundational core beliefs. And so then when we're adults, we're still running off of those subconscious beliefs and may not even realize it until we begin to examine them. So hypnosis is how we hit the record button and we can re-record those beliefs. And it's basically a way to alter the brainwave frequencies, which, as we've talked about before, happens naturally. Our brain goes into different brainwave frequencies all the time, but we can do it in a safe setting very intentionally. So when we alter the brainwave frequencies in a specific way, we're able to reprogram the subconscious mind. There's no resistance in the way. So it's a little different than an affirmation that you might just be saying consciously, or just a conversation like this, because your brain is less resistant in that altered brainwave frequency. So a beautiful way to get some deep changes happening is to put the person into that altered brainwave frequency through hypnosis. Then we'll apply some EFT tapping to heal some of the trauma that might be still living in that person's mind and body. And then we can overlay and add in the new, wonderful, healthy beliefs that we now want to utilize for a productive, optimal life. So typically we use all of that together. I offer a VIP mentorship program with different levels of support. So the mentorship program would be the best way for those that are really looking to roll their sleeves up and get some work done.
Mm-hmm. How many of the clients that you work with are focused on life transitions, which I would tend to be relationship, issues, coming out of a relationship, trying to get into a relationship, trying to perhaps transition with job? Or are you also focused on helping people that are entrepreneurs and other healers? Who is your primary client that you love to work with?
I love to work with the heart conscious coach, the heart conscious leader. I like to call them the New Earth visionaries. What is a New Earth visionary? It's a person who understands what New Earth means, which is we're all collaborating together in service for each other. But what happens to these open hearted individuals? We tend to burn out. I know that from firsthand experience. What happens when you care a lot, when you want to make a big difference, when you have big goals and a big heart? You can sometimes end up over sacrificing, overworking, burning out. And that's what I lived myself. That's what I saw my parents do. And so those are really the people that I work with most closely And I really love to help the most. It's the entrepreneur or the conscious coach who has a big heart and a big vision, but has hit a wall. Maybe that wall is in their 9 to 5, and they're saying, wow, I really want to launch this coaching business, but how do I do that? Or maybe it's in their coaching business. Maybe they've tried to get that coaching business going for many years, but they keep self sabotaging. So I help them uncover those subconscious patterns, those childhood traumas that maybe have not been addressed or healed quite yet, and we can clear the way with the tapping, and we can reprogram with hypnosis. And what activates me is seeing other people like you, David, who are here to help the grid, to help light everybody up. When we work together, when we get everybody optimized and feeling great, that's how we truly make a difference. We can't do it alone. We truly make a difference working together. And that's what I'm here to do, is help people feel their best, not just people, but again, the new earth visionary, so that we can work as a team, get this new earth popping.
It can be so easy to think, okay, I'm here to help others, and then the question is, well, who's helping me? And we all need people to come alongside us in different seasons of life and really be that extra support, that shield, that encourager, right, to help us. So you mentioned you have a VIP mentorship program. What does that involve?
The mentorship program has an assortment of virtual tools. So you're getting access to my website, which has an assortment of hypnosis audios and meditations, which will help optimize your mind and your energy field. We've also got a personalized hypnosis track. So I create a very personalized track for the person to listen to and get into a state of deep self hypnosis. And then, depending on how deeply they want to work, we've got 6, 12, and 24 session packages, as well as some group offerings that are part of that mentorship as well.
Mm-hmm. And your ultimate desire when a client is ready to kind of be launched out, sent out from working with you, what is that ultimate desire of what you want them to have experienced and feel?
When I meet with a person, I can see their greatness.
Mm-hmm.
When I meet with you, David, I can sense, feel, and imagine you in all your glory and power. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the same for every individual that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see you in your full potential. And sometimes we need that other person from the outside that can light the way for us when we're at our low points, when maybe we don't even believe in ourselves. Maybe one day we're feeling great, and another day we're not feeling as
Mm-hmm.
great. And we need somebody to boost us up a little bit. And what I love is simply to look at the glory and the power and the amazing energy that each unique individual carries within them. And
Mm-hmm.
I can help bring that amazing version of them to fruition. So that means sometimes being very honest about some of the shadow side that's also there. So because I can feel and sense energy very clearly, that's going to be the really, really good stuff. And that's going to be some of the bad stuff too. So I'm going to be very honest with my clients as well to help them uncover some of the aspects of the shadow, some of the aspects of the self sabotage, some of the things that really need to be addressed and healed, so that we can help them actually achieve that vision of greatness that's possible for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I think is fascinating as I follow the work of conscious leaders, healers, and coaches like yourself is your own growth, your own shifts and tweaks. And so part of your business growth has been operating in a queen archetype, which I love that term, queen. A lot of women, take on that archetype of being that queen in life and business. And you have recently shifted, and I'm not sharing something that's not public, like you've talked about it, to more of an archetype of an oracle. And so I'm so curious about what brought about that shift. What is the difference between a queen archetype and an oracle archetype? Talk me through that.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. It shows that you've done a deep dive on some posts, because that was definitely a post I did. So I appreciate that. And really, it reflects a transition with my own self identity for me to build a career, build a business, and to have a family life, to be able to balance all of these wonderful aspects of my life. I had to be a ruler in my own self identity. I embraced the energy of the queen so that I could rule compassionately over my kingdom so that I could have that sovereignty within me and feel like I had the ability to do what I needed to do. It was like the self identity that was the backbone of helping me manifest so I could manifest the abundance and the resources necessary to have a fruitful life and to help me help others to be in service. It was the essence of being a queen for me. But what shifted was coming into the knowing that the collective ultimately will come down to individual sovereignty. Freedom for the collective comes down to individual sovereignty. So we don't need another ruler. We need a reminder that we are our own inner ruler. Your inner sovereignty brings you freedom. You don't get freedom from the outside. So I can never bring anyone to freedom by being a ruler, by being a queen. I can only help them discover within themselves their own inner truth. So the oracle is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. And that's what I resonate with now, is allowing people to really be able to see that vision for themselves that maybe they have in their heart, maybe they have when they close their eyes, but I allow that to materialize. So the oracle is the one who brings all of that together in a way that allows intuition forward. So we're letting go of having to rule and we're bringing the intuition to the forefront. And this is what I teach my clients, is how to trust the intuition, how to listen to the intuition, how to distinguish between an emotional reaction versus a true response from the intuition. And also something we've talked about is how to balance the intuition with logic, because we still need logic. We still need lots of common sense, even while we are operating as an oracle. So my version of an oracle is someone who teaches how other people how to be their own oracle. And an oracle is just a fancy word of saying someone who knows how to use their intuition and how to read the forecast of the energy around them, because our energy creates our reality.
Beautiful. It's so fun to witness others going through their transformations as healers, business owners, because it's not like we're static, over the course of time. And you've been doing this for quite some time. And so there's going to be a natural ebb and a flow, like I became a pastor when I was 25, and now I'm not 25. And right, I've gone through many transitions over the years of how my view of myself, how my view of the world. So it's just fun to hear somebody be open and real about those transitions. It's beautiful. It inspires me to then go, how am I trying to rule versus how am I trying to use my intuition? Right? You become a mirror for me. So that's beautiful. Monika, if people want to work with you and book a session, dive into your website, what's the best place for them to connect with you online?
Absolutely. I offer a variety of free resources on my website, monikabenoit.com. You've got free tapping handouts, free hypnosis audios, free meditations, and a spectacular quantum manifestation startup kit, which is a 30-day journal that guides you through manifesting your dream life, a list of curated resources of my own favorite manifestation resources, and lots of other juicy material for everyone to enjoy. And in addition to that, I do live streams where we do tapping in the moment. I talk with other amazing healers and conscious coaches on my Instagram page. That's Monika the Quantum Oracle on Instagram. And I also have Beyond Human podcast on YouTube. So please check that out as well.
Yes. And you're on TikTok, I believe. I think I saw lots of videos on TikTok.
Just got on there. That's just
Lots.
starting. We'll get there.
There's a lot of tapping videos on TikTok. Yeah, super encouraging. Yeah, I loved it. Monika, it is great to be with you. Thank you for what you're doing in the world. Thank you for the demonstration of the tapping. I was like, whoa, I felt the shift. Look at that. She's powerful. She's in the flow. So thank you for all that you're doing. It's great to be with you.
Oh, it was an honor. It was a pleasure. Thank you for that delightful message at the beginning of our conversation today as well. But it was so fantastic just to be in your presence, David. I really, I adored our time together, and I'm honored. So please, hopefully we'll be able to connect again in the future.
Before Monica and I started our podcast recording, I shared a channeled message with her from two unseen friends that I've been working with over the last couple of years. Their names are Elvin and Archon. That's what they've told me. And this is the very first time that I have publicly shared me channeling. And I got to tell you, it feels pretty vulnerable. It is really powerful. The amount of energy that comes into my body when I tap in is extraordinary. It begins with light language and it is like electricity coming through me. And then honestly, the voice and the mannerisms are very demonstrative. It's something that I have felt uncomfortable with as it's been happening to me in a trance-like state over the last year. But I want to share it because I think that the message comes through is so powerful about her. It is about her and her gifts and the way that she works with clients. And she agreed that it would be something for us to share with you. So now that you're ready, let's begin. Shiki la babari under the key, Loro Shiki la babari under the key, Loro Shiki la babari under the key. Hurro Shiki la babari under the key, Labariatarashi. Hurro Shiki la babari under the key, Labariator Shiki la Rocky la babari under the key, Labariator Shiki la babari under the key, Labariatarashi la Rocky. Iloro Shiki la babari under the key, Labariatarashi, Labari under the key. Hurro Shiki la babari under the key, Labariatarashi la babari. Under shiki la babari under the kilo roshiki la raki la babari under the kilo roshi. Ilo roshiki la babari under the kilo roshiki la babari under the kilo roshiki la raki la boroki la rashi. Ah, dear Monica, it is so great to be with you today. My name is Elvin, and we are here with Archon as well. Archon is my powerful associate who brings much delight to individuals with healing power. So powerful. The necklace that you are wearing today is a metaphor, demonstration of a shield about you. A shield that you are putting up as a form of protection. Not that the necklace is a protection of itself. It is a beautiful picture of that which we see surrounding you. A shield not to protect your heart, but to protect you from any negative, energetic patterns that may be coming your way. May you be mindful of individuals who are in your life at this very moment that perhaps it might be best to shield their energy. This is not to create fear in any way, but it is to create empowerment, that you have a power at work within you that is greater than anything that may be coming in your direction. And so this beautiful necklace that adorns your chest, it may be a symbol of the shield that you can place in a moment's notice up around you to bring protection from anything that might come that might hinder you and your loved ones. And yet at the same time, you have a powerful way of being a shield around those who are in need of shielding, those who are in pain, those who are constricted, those who are locked up, those who are in a fetal position in life. You have the ability to form a shield around them as they are in the healing process. Not that you would be their shield forever, but it is a short-term shield that would prevent those things that would seek to derail their mind and their heart. You have this power. Archon is wanting to step forward and remind you of your power. You are powerful, more powerful than you even imagine. To place that shield about those who are in need of shielding. Yes. And the shield comes from a heart of love. The very place that this necklace is upon your chest is a demonstration of where the shield flows. Yes, it may be a spiritual, energetic shield, but in reality, it is the shield of love that you bring to each one of the clients that you serve. It is a beautiful shield of love that allows them time to heal, allows that new seed within them to germinate. Reminding you of the power within to shield yourself, reminding you of the power within to be a shield of love for the clients in your life. You are powerful. And your shield is beautiful and loving. Monika, do you have any questions for us today?
First, thank you for the message. Thank you for your wisdom. It resonates deeply. It's much appreciated. Is there a symbol or word that will allow me to bring my powerful shield in an instant?
It is merely love. Love is the shield. There is nothing fanciful about it. It is not some secret spiritual mantra that you might display by saying it here or here. It is the opening of your heart. Yes, it is your heart that is so big and vibrant and beautiful. Yes, it is. And so we would say in those moments when you sense there is either darkness, dark energy that might be surrounding you, rather than closing your heart in a antithetical way, you would open your heart, not to the person, but it's a heart of love that would shield you. And in the same way, when someone is hurting or broken, or even they're coming at you angry, you would put the shield of saying, I am loved. I am loved. I am love. You are loved. It is reminding them simultaneously, setting a boundary perhaps, that they are loved. Yes, it is love. That is the shield. Yes.
There was so much tremendous energy flowing through you. It was quite amazing to see.
Right? Good
Did it
grief.
feel? Did you feel that viscerally, like electricity, or how did that feel?
Yeah, every time it comes through, it is like electricity. It is like, because like in the beginning when I was saying, oh, it's not quite connecting, because like I feel it come in. Like I feel it's like this power comes through me. It's like a jolt of electricity. And so sometimes even when I'm channeling, it'll like cause my stomach to contract. Yeah. So yeah, it's extremely somatic. It's extremely visceral. And I'm on the ride because I don't know what's happening. I don't know the message that's going to come. Like I just see the first word or I see an image and then it just kind of comes from there. And the hope is that it's just being of service and being of love and seeing how it impacts somebody's life. So
That's amazing because that is literally what I visualize.
No
That is
way.
what I create on a daily basis. That's a metaphor that I use. That's an analogy that I use. That's a practice that I teach people. That exact thing is a beautiful filter of love where all the positive energy comes in, but the negative energy is alchemized into
Yeah.
neutral or love.
Yeah.
And so it's really neat that you just called that out. Or I mean, Elvin and Archon
Yeah.
called it out. But that's so cool.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
amazing.
so clear. Like it's so clear. I can see that happening and see
That
you
makes
doing that.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
like I didn't, I mean, I can see it as like that energetic kind of bubble or whatever it might be, but I just kept seeing shield. And I don't know, that necklace really, the moment I saw it, I was like, whoa, there's something there, you know?
Cool, cool.
Yeah,
We're
it's
running
kind of fun.
out of time, but I'm glad today it had a special significance to tie everything together. It's
That's
going to be
great.
even more special now.